Hello and welcome to After Class with Evan and Aidan. We are here on this sixth episode, I think we're at now. Number 6 with Mr. Strycharz. We've gone all out with this one. We've got, what have we got? We got water.
I got water.
We've got chocolate.
We got Polish chocolate.
And a sword.
Yes, I'm wondering who's going to be using it first, you or I. We'll see.
Kind of depends who gets the handle side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we even?
Well, that means that's Evan.
Oh, yeah.
Evan's closest. You
Just
don't have
watch
to worry
out for
about him.
He's the fencer, actually.
Well, he reaches for it. I'll have to break his elbow, but that's okay.
Sure to be an interesting episode.
Ready in the first minute of the podcast.
Did you expect it to go any other way?
We all have to know the boundaries, that's all.
Right. Yeah, so,
I still don't know why it's here, but it's interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
So we can all stop looking at the box. You can go ahead and have one.
Okay, so...
Would you like to describe to us what we're seeing?
So those of you who aren't here, there's a certain type of chocolate that comes out of Poland, and it's chocolate around a jelly, and it's called galaretka. And this one is cherry flavored, wiśnie, and I like it. So actually, even though I'm the guest, but because they're Polish,
Wow.
please, Evan, you first.
Wow.
Okay, and then Aidan.
To say my bup's just giving me plenty.
That's right, your babcia's.
Dude.
And
It's okay.
Jack, right on. Okay, and then I'm going to have one too. Everybody, na zdrowie. There you go. Normally we do that with vodka, but this is school, and I want to keep my job.
Oh, it's like actual jelly.
Yeah, galaretka, it's jelly.
I thought it was gonna be like a hard gummy or something.
Well, they have that too, but normally we get that stuff, Haribos, eh? Haribos are good. That's good, you know, when they're fresh.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are actually surprising because, obviously, at my bup's place, there's always chocolate. Right?
Yeah.
There's always food. There's always
Yeah.
these mysterious boxes of candy that I don't understand.
Yeah.
These are pretty good. Like in terms of, it's always these. Like anything jelly filled, I know I can usually trust.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've ever had those chocolate covered like plums.
Plums, oh my goodness.
They're really good.
Oh yeah.
They're very distinct. I find I've never given them to a non-Polish person and they've actually enjoyed it, but I love them.
It's a whole plum dipped in chocolate.
Haven't I
Oh
given you one
dude,
before?
you haven't had this? Oh my goodness.
I should have brought those in.
Yeah, we'll bring those in next time.
We'll bring you one there.
6.2.
Is there anything in between, or is it just like chocolate and plum?
It's chocolate. It's just plum, isn't
So
it? Sometimes there's jelly in them.
It'll be almost like, it's not quite prune, but it's not a full out plum. So it's halfway in between, and then you got chocolate all around it. It sounds so silly, but it's nice. Now, for those of you who don't know, babcia means grandma in Polish.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to
We have to say that.
subtitle
Yeah,
this now.
exactly.
Wow.
Oftentimes in the workroom, the people so the teachers in the workroom where I am, I'll oftentimes say, in Poland, you've got certain food groups depending on where you go. So when you go to babcia's place, food groups are chocolate, plums, and like something else sweet. And what about vegetables? No, not at babcia's place. It's always something sweet. Lemon tea with honey. There you go. There's the third one right there. Yeah, that's always good. Yeah.
I remember the lemon tea too.
Is the lemon tea also in chocolate?
But do you think all
everything-
Polish food is just in chocolate now?
It's pretty
You've already
close.
told me two things.
All Polish
What's your
a lot of
favorite?
Polish dessert is just add chocolate to something.
Add chocolate, and there's a huge dessert sweet part of the culture. It's gigantic, and they have. It's weird because we don't grow chocolate there. We import it, but the huge chocolate companies in Poland, gigantic ones.
Yeah. I assume this is a pretty big one. I see their stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty. This is a pretty big one. But then if you end up seeing Wedel, that's another big one. Wedel is like the classic old one. They were just bought by some big Western company, but good stuff. You've got to try. You've got to try the chocolate covered
I
plums.
want to now. I'm
Yeah.
interested.
I'll bring you one. We always have plenty. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to this topic,
Yep.
but we'll start it off with a little bit about Mr. Strycharz. So, would you like to? I know, dangerous territory,
Yeah,
right?
very dangerous.
Would you like to give us maybe a brief overview of what kind of classes you teach, your teaching style, maybe where you went to school?
How you became a teacher.
Yeah, the Strycharz story.
Oh my goodness.
In brief.
Well, right now at the school, the vast majority of my classes are the history classes. When I first got hired here years ago, I was teaching, of course, like everybody else, lots of religion classes. But then there were a whole bunch of courses that almost like needed to be rescued. So you guys know Mr. Horan's philosophy course. So before it became Mr. Horan's course, it was mine. And before it was me, it was another teacher. And it was one of those courses that needed to be rescued. So I got into that. And so I was doing religion courses and then the philosophy course. And then you guys know Mr. Nitty's grade 12 business course. And again, that was another rescued course that was down around 13, 14 people. I took it over. And then he and Mr. Hartfield, other people have taught it as well. And he's running with it right now and doing a great job. So a lot of religion courses, a lot of those courses, a lot of just business and general courses. And then slowly, because my degree is in history, slowly I was getting into the history courses, and that's where I am now.
About the religion courses, I've heard a few teachers mention, obviously I think every teacher here has to be qualified to teach religion.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the course that just gets pawned off on whatever teacher? Because
Well,
you kind of make it sound like, somebody had to do the religion course.
kind of yes and kind of no. I like teaching religion. I don't know if I approach it differently than most other people, but I like it. Watch, I'm going to get all those courses now, which is not a problem with me. I have a feeling, though, most people feel a little bit uncomfortable about teaching religion. And so as you become an established teacher, you kind of start to shy away. So now the courses are open. Well, your administrator, whoever it is, has to be able to fill those courses. And then whoever comes along is, boom, it's yours, it's yours. And you know what? All you want is a job. Give me anything. I think I heard somebody say today, if when I was young, if they said, okay, you're going to be doing a tap dancing course, he said to me, I have no idea what to do. I would have done it. So you're looking for a job. I liked it, though. I still like it now. All of you have been in my class, so sooner or later, it comes up. It comes up as a topic. And I think how I approach it is a little bit different.
You mean the religion course?
Just talking about religion in general. It's way too much background noise, isn't there? Good. I need to have a little cough candy.
Oh man,
My bronchitis is clicked in.
I didn't realize you brought it up.
Okay.
Wow, you have the perfect voice for the ad, sir.
Well, I tried. You know what? Years ago, I tried to get into not so much acting, but voice stuff. I was too lazy.
Like what, commercials?
Yeah, I actually took classes and all that kind of
Too
thing.
lazy to be a voice actor.
Too late. That's saying a lot, eh?
That's
saying a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of use my voices in class, so I get paid a hell of a lot more, I think, here than maybe I would have done for commercials. Who knows? I don't know. Never did it, so never know. I just did. Ricola. That's good enough, I think. That's about it. No, that door's closed a long time ago.
It's kind of sad. I almost forgot some of your voices from history class.
Well, if it was anybody's birthday today, then there would have been and the one, and the two, and the three, and we sing happy. Everybody calls it the groove voice. I don't know if it is, but a little bit. I guess.
It's quite close to a groove voice, I think.
Pretty close, yeah. And well, you heard it before. Maybe you hadn't online, but everybody else in person sooner or later hears it.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
What class did you have, Strycharz?
Online.
Was it American, Ancient, or grade 10? I don't think I had you for grade 12 online. No.
It was grade 10.
Grade 10. So grade 10. Yeah. You asked earlier, like, what's my style? You know this already. I just ask questions and wait for an answer. And I don't care how awkward the silence is.
Yeah, for anybody listening, if you ever have Mr. Strycharz as a teacher, like for people who haven't had him yet, you answer his questions because otherwise you will sit there and wait and wait.
That's right.
And he will tower above you.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an awkward silence for me. I can wait. I'll rephrase it. I'll repeat it. But that's called what? Socratic. So I come into almost everything thinking, if I ask the right question, even if you don't know the topic we're doing, you can start the answers or the topic from the question that I ask you. I just have to figure out what the right question is to get it going. And then sooner or later, with all the questions, we'll have enough of the topic in the discussion where then I'll go to the board and I'll say, okay, this is what we just discussed. And there are your notes.
Is there any particular place where you kind of decided on that sort of teaching style, or was it sort of a over the course of your career thing?
I think it's because I had a handful of teachers in high school who were like that. And I found that as they did that, I was listening more. And as I listened more, I got it. I can remember being, and I was a shy kid in high school. I can remember thinking a whole bunch of times, I'll stick my hand up and I'll try. Because they're leading me somewhere. Let's see if I get it right. It's almost like a competition. And that was like, Mr. Greif was like that. Mr. Hirsch was like that. I had a ton of teachers who were like that. And I guess that's where I got it from.
You went to school for history, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did you go into that looking for a job teaching history?
Oh, no. I first went to university going into business. And I was quite good at it. But, oh my gosh, I realized that I didn't have the character because business is pretty cutthroat. And when my personality gets cutthroat, I don't like it. So then I switched over into history. And then when I did that, I can remember thinking, well, what am I going to get a job in now? I have no idea. I'm just going to get my degree. And then I graduated. Parents yelled at me. I got to get a job. So that's when I went into teaching. It was actually kind of strange. I kind of fell into it, but it was the right thing to do, I think, when I look at it. And I went into it a little bit later in life. So I was in my mid-20s when I did all that. So there you go. That was it. So history is my second one. First was business.
Really, I'm surprised because you have you definitely have a passion for it when we like in class.
Oh, I do.
I guess of course you must. It's your job.
Yeah.
You went to school for it, so.
Well, I can remember being in high school thinking, what am I going to go to university for? And I liked history. What job are you going to get with history?
See, I would have.
And that was it. And I was thinking I'll go into business because I'll get tons of jobs in business.
I know what you mean because, like, you know, I've been in your class before. Like, I really like history too, but I get a history degree, and then what?
And then what?
Am I an art curator now?
I'm going to walk around with a sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, I got history degree.
I go around. I go around with the model sword and say, "This is a bodkin, 15th century English."
Yeah, they're all
throw their money at you.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
So now you know why I considered
such a good idea getting that history degree with your 7-figure salary.
So I think you get an idea of where the crazy idea I had about going into voice acting came in, eh? Between graduating and going into teaching, what the hell am I going to do? Maybe I'll be a voice actor.
Not that crazy. You have a pretty good voice for it.
Well, thank you very much. And maybe I missed it. I just didn't. Maybe now I would go into it. Back then it was like, oh, who the hell cares? You know, sort of thing.
I feel like you could play a very gruff character in a movie or a TV show.
But I'm too old now. When I was younger, that'd be great.
Too young? Oh, no. No, there's plenty of voice actors.
For voice acting. Yeah, voice acting.
Aren't the voice actors for, like, Bart and Lisa Simpson, like, 60 years old?
Yeah. There's no age limit.
So, yeah, voice acting maybe. Yeah.
Voice acting is probably one of the most long-lasting careers you can do. Like the guy who voices Mario in, like, Super Mario.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing it for, like, 35 years. You should see him now. He's getting pretty old. But
really?
he can still do the voice, and that's all that matters.
I guess that all matters. Yeah.
And you have a very distinct, like, still very strong voice, so.
Well, geez, thank you. And you know what? When I can tell you this much: when I wake up in the morning and I have friends like call me, okay, don't forget to bring this to work and whatever, and I'll go, yeah, okay. What's the matter with your voice? It's morning. It always gets when I'm working. It by the end of the day, it is much higher than it starts because you know we're always me.
Oh, yeah.
You can't shut me up. I'm always talking.
No, I understand. It's the same thing for me. When I wake up, I can barely talk. I talk a lot more like this when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
My voice gets a lot higher pitched by 3 o'clock or whatever it is.
You've been coaching and telling people to take away the sideline as they're, playing defense and the other guys are coming up the court. It's craziness. Hey, Jack, how's it going?
Again, we have not got an episode without Jack getting some kind of comment. So much more to talk about.
Oh, geez. All right, good. I don't know who wants to listen to me, but okay. You're forced to listen to me in class. Like, come on, that's okay.
Well, this is for the grade 9s. So
it's
supposed to be helping to introduce students
grade 9
to the newer teachers.
Oh, they're so lucky that we're coming off of COVID. They don't even know my opinion about grade 9s. They're so lucky. I've been so nice this year to them.
Yeah. I was about to ask you that, and I don't know if that's a topic that you'd like to talk about. But...
No, not recorded. No.
Fair enough.
You guys are in grade 13. You know my opinions on grade 9s. But, this year was different. We're coming off of COVID, so they have to feel like they're welcome in the school. But next year's group, I'll tell them to get out of the way in the hallways. They're always in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, that's
What's up with
crazy.
that?
That's one of the biggest things we lost is nobody does the right side, left side, like the
Yeah.
road hallway. If you're grade 9 listening to this, please stick to the right side of the
Yeah,
hallway.
stick to the right side, dudes and dudettes. Like, come on. Like, there's a way to go up and down the hall. And when you're waiting for a class, get up against the lockers. Let people go. People gotta get to class. People gotta get to the washroom. When you're this old, you gotta get to the washroom. Like, get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's now just like the masses of friend groups, right? It's like rather than move over to the side, it's just stick
Yeah,
right
stop
in the
showing off that you got friends. Like, come on. Jeez, what the hell's up with that?
middle. Showing off.
Hey, teachers, look, I got friends. You know, your friends are hoodlums. That's another favorite word of mine, hoodlum. Anyways, keep going. Next question.
Yeah. You mentioned before, as well as we were talking about Jack so politely, that obviously you're the coach of the basketball team.
Yeah.
You have been for the last while, I think, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that, or any other teams that you've coached?
Well, like also the coach this year is also Mr. Pereira, and I think we've had a good year together. And as far as me coaching, I've coached everything from basketball. I've fiddled around and helped with soccer. I fiddled around and helped with rugby in years past. Some other things as well. I don't think there's been a year, except in a silly, stupid strike year, where I haven't coached. I like coaching. I think that was probably more than anything else the reason why I got into teaching. I love history, and as much as I like teaching history, as much as I like teaching in general, it was coaching. I had great coaches in high school, and it wasn't that I got a lot of playing time, because I didn't. I just had great coaches, and I can remember the teams, all of the teams. And I can remember the guys who were on it, and the coaches were great. And I can remember thinking, this is where you can actually be yourself. So any of the nines or anybody else listening, whether it's a club or a course where you kind of go get outside of your school environment as far as what you think school is, or a team, try it. It really will round out your experience here. That's why I got into teaching, I think, more than anything else. Coaching, I think it's because I probably know basketball better than the other sports. Maybe what I know about baseball is close to what I know about basketball, but probably not. And that's why I was there. And Jack, from grade 9, I saw what he could do. But it's not just him. Like most of my senior players, I'll sit back and I'll watch who the junior coaches pick, and I'll watch them play, and I'll think, okay, they're still growing, they're still developing, and I'm starting to think, okay, how are they going to be when they're in grade 11 and they're 16, 17 years old? And then how are they going to mature when they're going to be in grade 12 and 17 and 18 years old? And how is all that going to fit in 2 years? In 3 years? I'm always thinking like that. It's strange.
So you're saying you're already reviewing the grade 9s for senior team prospects?
Of course. And Jack will tell you that after I saw him play in grade 9, I told him exactly what he had to do if he wanted to make my team.
You scouted him.
Yeah, I did. And I said, listen, dude, your side, and I'll say, you're here. We're giggling. And he did it. He addressed, I said, your side to side defense is okay, but your forward and back defense has to get better. And he did. And he started this year. Now, he started for a whole bunch of reasons. And the biggest thing is up here. It's psychologically, mentally, he's tough and he knows the game. And that was something I was already noticing in grade 9. I didn't have to sit back and think, I wonder if that'll develop. I was just hoping that the defense would develop. And it did.
Right, well, star point guard Jack McLaughlin, anything you'd like to say about your journey as an athlete?
Listen to your coaches, man. He tells you what you got to do and what you got to do to be on the team, and you got to work to better yourself then that way. And yeah.
Thank you. That was Jack McLaughlin.
That was Jack.
Washed up basketball player, and now our audio engineer
His career is now over.
to make ends meet. He's been editing our pod.
Well, did you
audio
see the
engineering
hip check
podcasts.
that Mr. Burke performed
The
on Jack?
devastating hip check, or yeah,
Yeah.
check it out on some of the footage from our teacher-student basketball game.
That was you're too young to remember this. That was a Darius Kasparaitis hip check.
I absolutely guarantee that nobody listening to this podcast will
No,
know
other
this.
than the teachers, and they won't be listening. But I walked by Mr. Burke the other day and I called him Darius, and he giggled.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
That was good. I think actually you were talking about coaching. The back. Yeah. I saw you coaching on the court.
Oh yeah.
You were hanging back. I saw you calling out plays,
Well,
pointing here, waving at that person.
okay, that game. First of all, I'm years old, and let me tell you, I thought I was going to have a heart attack before the game started. And there were several times during the game. I told all my students, I have grade 10s, I told all of them, put 9-1 into all of your phones, because the moment I go down, all of you were calling. So that didn't happen. And I was kind of proud of myself.
For not having a heart attack.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Good on you, sir.
Yeah, well, I always call it you're blowing out the valves, eh? In the heart. Boom, boom, and the heart lasted. But then I said, okay, let's try a little more. Then I started to lean on Frank. And then I realized how out of shape I was. You lean on Frank for like 5, 10 seconds, and you go, okay, no, forget it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was hanging back. It wasn't so much that I was trying to run everything, is that extra 5 yards to run, I couldn't do it by then. But did you notice later on that I was a very effective sixth man while being on the court?
I think Jack would probably be able to speak more on that. I was just snapping pictures.
Oh, I don't know if Jack saw that either.
Is that
Did
true,
you?
Jack? The Jack and Strycharz podcast.
You were doing a lot of coaching on and off the floor for
Yeah.
student-teacher basketball. I don't know if there were designated coaches for your team
No.
or not, but you took up your role as the coach, definitely.
And then I held a bit of a defensive, a symposium where, how many people are supposed to be on the court per team at a time?
5.
That's right. I was sixth man on the court.
Except the one time you guys had 11 players on the floor.
Well, come on. Now you count. Now you count. I'd like to see your math credits. Yeah, let's see what you got there. Now you count.
You talked about blowing a gasket before. I'm surprised you don't do that during the seniors, like high school basketball games, coaching on the side of the bench there.
That would be like, blood vessels in my brain. There are times where I get, okay, probably the thing that gets me craziest when you're coaching, you think that your players are smart. They're getting it. They're there. Timeout. Gonna call a play. They come over. They sit. I go, everybody on the court, sit down in front of me. Good. Get out the board. Start planning out the play. They're all watching. You got it? Good. Excellent. 1, 2, 3. Tigers, go. Between the distance of the bench and when they touch the ball, which probably takes about 10 seconds and is about 15 yards, they've forgotten everything. And ball goes in, go. What are they doing? And it'll be silent, and you'll hear me. What did I call a timeout for? What the hell? What's going on? And that's when I want to. But you know what? Like, Jack, you've heard it, you've seen me, but I'm nowhere close to as intense as I used to be. No. I'm a pussycat now compared to what I used to be.
Oh, so you're a back in my day type of coach.
Well, when I played, I was pretty intense, but when I coached in the first 10 years, I was crazy intense.
Back when you were allowed to smack kids in the fingers with rulers.
Well, okay, no, I never hit anybody, but jeez, everybody knows these stories. All of my ex-players know these stories. I broke clipboards on my head. I broke them on my arm, on my knee. I would snap them and throw them on. I'd throw chairs on the sideline. It was. Those were the old days. I don't want to call them good old days, but I'm way softer now than I used to be.
Well, have you really coached if you haven't broken a clipboard over your?
No, you haven't. I don't think you have. I think you're playing at being a coach unless you do something like that.
I know my dad's got a couple of clipboard lives taken under his belt.
There you go. And that you just gotta. That's just. One time I tried to do it, as just to, because we were playing horrible. Mr. Sobalski was coaching with me at the time.
Well, there's a reason.
Well, okay, Sobalski, he used to get me into trouble. I used to get technicals because of him. And he's going to deny it. But
He'd work you up?
No. So the game would be going on. He's sitting at the end of the bench, and all of a sudden, there's some yip that comes from the end of the bench. Ref turns around, looks at me. You, technical. And I'm going, whoa, okay. how did you hear what I said 5 minutes ago? Because I shouldn't get a technical right now. He goes, oh, technical. And I'm like, what? And I look down the bench, and there's Cebulski covering his eyes, looking the other way. I go, oh, it was you. It was you. And they're blaming me. I used to get the seatbelt rule because of him. It was crazy. But anyways, where the hell were we? I can't remember. Oh, so I was planning one little thing with the clipboard. We were playing horrible. Halftime. And told the team, you better get into the dressing room. You better be quiet when I get there. And they go. And then it's just Cebulski and I left over. And I go, okay, Paul, get ready for it. This is the game plan. I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna start kind of slow, and then I'm gonna get really mad, and I'm gonna snap the clipboard on my knee. And he goes, yeah, let's see if it works. Like, so it was just planned.
Sounds good.
Planned.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, let's see
Make
if
it
works.
happen.
Just to get their heads properly in the game. Walk in, it's going great. Slow, start screaming. Jack this, Jack.
The tension's built.
It's going, and I go, if you guys better. And I take the clipboard. Boom, but it was plastic.
Oh.
I could feel my knuckles meet underneath my hamstring, and it didn't break.
That's a really big clipboard.
Yeah, and it didn't break. And then I started to realize I'm letting go of the clipboard, and it flew out of my hand. It hit the ceiling, came down, and I'm like, and you better play well. And I had to leave because I was going to laugh.
Oh my God.
And I left. The Cebulski stayed in there. And then
No, there's no way Cebulski could have kept serious.
no, and so exactly
no way.
And so they come out afterwards, but they're all like stone faced. They come out, and I go, Paul, how was it? He goes, we couldn't stop laughing. We couldn't stop laughing. I go, well, at least they're stone faced now. Let's see what happens. We won the game. Yeah.
Happy ending.
Yeah.
After all.
But
That's good.
we scripted it all. It just props. Props needed better props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was production's fault.
Exactly. Production.
Damn. Does Cebulski ever? I don't know. I feel like you and Cebulski could pull off a really good cop, bad cop. Because I feel like I feel like he'd be the voice of reason over your shoulder, saying, David, calm down. It's okay. They're just kids. It was
a lot like that.
Smash the clipboard.
Oh
on your head.
yeah, it was a lot like that.
So
and now it's kind of like I've backed off a little bit right now, but I'm still. It's almost always been I'm bad cop. It's almost always.
I can't imagine you're any other way.
I guess it's true. I started with Mr. McGrath, and he was kind of good cop. You guys don't remember him. Then Cebulski, and now and then Groggy for a little while, and then Mr. Pereira, and I've always been bad cop. But in saying that, I'm a very mild bad cop now. Jack will tell you that. What was the worst? I'd call you out if you're dragging your behind and not doing. I'd call you out.
I've seen some of that courtside.
Mhm.
Just like, obviously taking pictures of the games and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame we're not in the good old days where you could.
But you know what? The player has changed.
etc. I don't know.
Everybody will like to say, "Oh yeah, be tougher," and the kids will respond and all of that kind of stuff. But that only goes so far. The player has changed. I don't think I would want to be as tough as I was. They wouldn't respond. So I've grown. I've had to figure out how to balance, being kind of nicey nice with still expecting a lot. But it wouldn't have. Jack, I think, would have no problem. I would say most of the senior team, if not all the senior team this year, would have no problem with old Strycharz. But I've had teams where
they just like it creates too much of a divide almost.
Being pushed that hard is not normal in today's society. Like I said, Jack and I would say all of the guys on the senior team this year probably would respond to being pushed that hard. So how can I explain? Practices would be crazy intense in the old days. Crazy intense. And then games would be simple because as tense as the game got, it was never as intense as practices.
Right.
I can't do that in practices nowadays.
Yeah.
Although you guys this year, I would say yes. I wouldn't have had a problem. Our problem was just getting time. That's all this year.
Yeah. And speaking of sports, how about those Leafs, eh?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I know you said you know lots about basketball, lots about baseball. I noticed you didn't say hockey.
You hit a sensitive spot.
Well,
Well, a sensitive spot is
they're in a tough spot right now.
Leaf fans are.
Yeah.
We know what the reality of the world is, eh? So, and the reality of the world is you can't depend on anything until you actually see it. It's like, show me, you know.
You've had enough time to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
For reference, we are in the 2022 playoffs, first round. Tampa Bay, the big dog of the league, versus our, I was gonna say our boys in blue, but they're both in blue, aren't they?
Well, but you know
Toronto.
what?
It's 3-2 right now, right?
Statistically, Toronto is at least an equal, if not a tiny bit bigger dog. They finished ahead of Tampa
Did they? I don't follow
in
the league.
in their same division, so that's saying a lot, which means that they played against each other quite a bit in the regular season. You know, I just want to point out that in that division, Montreal finished last. And you know, Montreal fixed the draft the other day, and they get the number one pick. Let's hope that they screw that up.
We're rebuilding.
Oh, did you hear a voice somewhere? Was that the voice of Guy Lafleur who just passed away? Stay dead, Guy. Stay dead.
Sounded like a crying Habs fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stay.
You can't. What? He's coming back. Stay dead. Go to the light, Guy. Go to the light. Yeah. Well, so yeah, when it comes down to it, you got to show me. And my problem with the Leafs is this. And Montreal last year, I think, kind of showed it to the league. If you have guys in the playoffs who are players, doesn't have to be guys, and any team we talk about in sports, you have people in playoffs who are focused. And I say this to Hartfield all the time. The Leafs need 3 or 4 guys who are constantly mad and angry, like me. And then
You mean on the team or on like the coaching staff?
on the team, constantly mad, not at each other, but at not wanting to discuss losing at all, not wanting to entertain the topic of losing.
Just like a couple like just solid, obviously not like team captains, but just people to guide
Yeah,
the team in
yeah.
that direction.
And you just see it that they are never nervous about performing. They're just always nervous about losing. And they're angry and they never want to lose. That's what the Leafs need. Last year, Montreal, they had players like that. And that with Price, I mean, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, that's what got them as far as they did. But thank God they lost.
Yeah, I think right now their series is at 3-2, I believe,
3-2 for the Leafs. So,
for the Leafs, and they play tonight.
yeah,
So this is the moment of truth.
I'm doing the beads.
Yeah.
Hail Mary, full of grace. I'm going to ask Mary to ask Jesus. You don't ask Jesus in this situation because he's too busy with other things. You ask mom to talk to son. You never know. Now, listen, you did it for Montreal last year. Like, there's no way they could have gotten past the first round without you helping. So come on now.
I said when the Leafs played the Habs in that, I think they were also quarterfinals, right? It was first round.
First round.
Yeah, I honestly thought because that went to 7.
Yes, it did last year.
I thought when I watched that if Toronto had beaten Montreal,
They were going the whole way.
they would have gone the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
And I still think now if they can beat Tampa,
Oh,
they'll go the whole way.
what other better
Who is
message
going-
it is to
who is
to the
gonna
team?
stop them?
Who's going to stop them? Now, Florida is kind of crazy. So in that conference, you would think Florida because they've had a crazy good year. And they've got some people who could beat them. But what kind of confidence do you need more than we just beat the 2-time Stanley Cup champions, current holders, and they had a good year this year. And it's not like they're old jokers who are just hanging on as far as a team, as far as the Lightning Bolts go. So we're ready. You're right. I think you're right. But good Leaf fans, I'm knocking on the table. I won't believe it till I see it.
People will probably be listening to this by the time that it's past.
Yeah, by the
So,
time people are hearing this, they will know.
So if you see most of us in this room walking down the hallway with big smiles on our faces, and if that person's name isn't Jack McLaughlin, then the Leafs won.
Yeah, specifically, if you see Jack McLaughlin curled into a small ball on the side
Yeah.
of the highway, you'll know.
Yeah.
And if the Leafs have lost, then you have to go seek out Strycharz and laugh in his face.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of points and yeah. But I do that a lot in class, so I can take it. If I give it, you got to be able to take it. That's right.
Yeah, I think a lot of our younger students have become familiar with the Mr. Strycharz laugh. I gotta say, it makes my day in English class because you usually do it in that upstairs hallway next to the
Well,
workroom.
it's the dad jokes. Yeah, upstairs hallway.
It's the perfect distance.
Yeah,
And I really appreciate the delay.
yeah.
That's-
But you can just hear in the background.
That's well crafted. Yeah.
Now-
After you've had time to listen and process the joke.
Listen, process, and then it does about a second and a half to 2 seconds. Respond, because people sometimes will go, "Oh, he's not here." He's here.
It's elegant. It's elegant.
I try. But you know what? What is it? It's Mr. McGregor or it's Mr. Bebier, and they're cheesy jokes. I call them Bousset jokes, not dad jokes. They're Bousset jokes, and they're trying to deliver them properly. So I think they're kind of funny. It's cheesy. You put more cheese on the burger, I'm happy. It's okay. It's all right.
Or Mr. Bissett. Nobody's taken a shot at Bissett yet. Plenty at
He won't mind.
Plenty Sobolski.
Ask any of his students. They'll say, Mr. Bousset, he is such a good comedian. Only problem is he laughs at his own jokes. That's true, though. But we all do.
That's yes, we do, sir.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All of us do.
All of us.
I do that in class all the time. I'll say something and nobody will respond. I go, I thought it was funny. You're just so square. That's all.
Is there any particular teachers in the school who you kind of go back with? Like who's your first teacher friend when you started working here?
Oh, there's a list, long list.
I don't know this, but I have a feeling you get along with Mr. McGregor very well.
Oh yeah. When I got hired decades ago, a whole bunch of us got hired either a year or two prior to me or a year or two after me, and we were such a young staff. We did so many things together, where you got tight with everybody. McGregor, Hartfield, Bousset, De Oliveira. How can I not have him at top of the list? I'm sure I'm missing somebody right now, and they're super pissed at me. Sorry, super upset at me. Jack, the McLaughlins, everybody. Like it's so strange, but
Look at that, Jack. You got your own special mention.
there you go. Yeah, he used to.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was discussing even before the podcast that every single teacher who's come on here has taken a shot at either Jack or Jack's dad. Mostly Jack. Well, because he's been in here so often.
Yeah.
You have the excuse, right?
Can we have a tally on the screen for how many teachers on the podcast have made fun of Jack?
Oh my God, I'm not making Amanda do that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she'd be so angry.
I feel like it's worth it at this point for how many there are.
So how many years have you guys known Jack?
Well,
Pretty much 4, right?
4, high school?
I have known Jack for 4 to 5.
4 to 5, just prior to high school?
We've only
Okay.
probably talked for about 2. Is that right, Jack?
About that, yeah.
And so
I
most
used
of
to play
us
baseball with him.
have known him 17 or 18.
17.
Most of us have known him for 17 years. And along that time, okay, he's no faker. His personality is his personality. And so what you guys know, we've known. And
That's what you think. He's been in this game 17 years.
and it's like sooner or later, like once you get to know somebody that well, it's just that he's held back on us because we're teachers. But trust me, once he graduates, it'll be, oh yeah, Strycharz. Here's a little bit back at you, and here's a little bit
That's
back
what I
at
mean.
you.
You think you know him. He's the polite, studious athlete. Second he's out of here, Strycharz, you better watch out.
I know.
Who knows what he's got in that mind of his?
Yeah, I have to make sure that I've got all the cameras around the car.
Clock's ticking.
Look at those eyes. Those are lying eyes.
Those are vicious eyes.
So everybody's taking a shot at Jack.
Most.
Most?
Funny enough, it's whether or not he's here. It actually doesn't matter whether he's sitting in this room or
Oh,
not.
really?
They find a reason.
So even if he isn't here,
Even if he's not.
so they'll see Papa Jack,
well,
and then they'll have to mention Jack. Okay,
Papa
I
Jack,
get it.
obviously.
That's Mr. McLaughlin. Everybody.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, Mr. McLaughlin would do it. I think Sobolski did as well.
Sobolski did, yeah.
Yeah.
Nitty didn't.
Didn't he not?
I don't believe so. I think Nitty was nice.
Maybe.
Too nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Nitty's super nice.
He was
He's almost
thinking it,
like
though.
thickly nice.
Don't worry, he was thinking it.
Yeah. Jeez. But I bet Sobolski went. But also, like, you guys, like, as far as the families go, you guys do a lot of stuff outside of school too.
Yeah,
So
and
there's even more.
we've discussed that plenty on previous
Yeah.
episodes. Speaking of which, it's getting about time to wrap up this episode.
Sounds
so
good.
you kind of got into it before we even prompted you, but we like to give this time for our teacher guests to get their message to new students out, because as we've said, this is for students of all ages.
Yeah.
But we hope that after we're gone, that some people can listen to this podcast to get oriented with the personalities of the school. So is there any specific message you'd like to get out if you had to say something to all the
grade
new
9
kids
class
coming
or
in
whatever.
in all future years?
You know what? That's an interesting question. I like it. I was thinking about that the other day, about how much COVID has changed things and how much in general it seems like what school is changing. And in some ways it's awesome, but in other ways I get worried. And so what I think I would probably do, and I think you guys have got a feel for this, I encourage all grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12 students, if you're here for one term or for all 4 years, I encourage all teachers, all administrators, try to turn your experience in school into creating a home for yourself. Whatever that home is defined as or expressed as. Do it that way so that you feel comfortable being here. You don't all have to be the same, but part of the school is home. And then once that happens, you have ownership of what happens here, what you do here, how you're seen here. And like that will make everything more comfortable. And once you're there, you'll start to realize that everybody starts dedicating more and more and more of their energy to making the place better. Make it home. And I was thinking about how COVID took that away for a couple of years. And I hope we get back to it. And everybody, students, teachers, and administrators. Anyways, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks, sir.
Thank
This
you.
has been
Thank you. Thank you,
episode
everybody.
6 of After Class. Thank you very much for coming here. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did.
It was very good.
This was
Thank
a
you
good
very much.
conversation.
Yes.
Help yourself to any more chocolate.
I will. And everybody, the galaretkas, which are the jelly chocolates, and the plum ones.
Yes.
I will bring. You know what? Next time I go to my bupsh's place, I'll definitely bring you one. If there's extra there, I'll bring you one too.
I go shopping on the weekend, and if I see a package, I'll get you guys one just for the shopping.
Visit Starsky's.
Well, Starsky's, but I go to Joe and John's, and I go to Eddie's, and everything. So Starsky's another one, but Starsky's too busy. It's really busy.
Yeah, they made it a big supermarket now.
Super, it's crazy. Even people like Jack show up there, so you know it's not authentically Polish anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, McLaughlin Ski shows up.
of course.
Okay, finish up. I'm sorry. Talk to
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.